I'm Jacquie Jordan. Welcome to Front and Center. We are the show where the change agents, storytellers, and activators who are making difference from behind the scenes are making impact and joining us now at Front and Center. And today I have my dear friend Tara Sutphen. I first knew about Tara Sutphen from her book, Blame It on Your Past Lives, way before I had the privilege of meeting her. And we go back a couple decades, and I am really grateful to consider myself a family friend, but I wanted to share just her incredible body of work over the past 20 years. And please welcome my dear friend Tara Sutphen.
Yes.
So thank you so much. I wanted to fawn over you. I get the privilege of doing that, having my own show and podcast. But you have, in this week, Richard Sutphen, your ex-husband, passed.
Yes.
And then the two of you built up an incredible body of work through Valley of the Sun Publishing,
Yes.
which was like the Hay House before the Hay House.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like it defined a whole period. It was kind of like rock star spiritual development in the 80s. What do you feel about the contribution of the work that the two of you did?
Well, I knew it was important even at the very beginning, even when it was not really, it wasn't part of the mainstream then. And we knew that it wasn't. And so it was, there was a lot of demonstrations and silly things that used to happen around our work. And then all of a sudden it became, it hit.
It hits.
It hit.
Which I love that for creators, especially
Yes.
creators, in the work that I do, who are like are tipping point and pushing the edge of a momentum or
Yes.
of a narrative. But at the time you couldn't say reincarnation.
No, it was, yeah, and even though, there was so many people in the world, that believe in reincarnation because, that all the Buddhists and all the Hindus and stuff, they believe in reincarnation, but just mainstream America didn't like reincarnation. So, and my work, I don't believe is necessarily all about reincarnation.
Not at all. You're an author, a hypnotherapist, you are well versed in astrology.
Yes.
Life coach almost comes to you. You give a lot of guidance.
A lot of guidance.
To people.
Yeah, I'm a way clearer, shamanic way clearer, and also, I'm called the American mystic. And so it's all about getting into your next stage in your life because, we trip ourselves up, doubt ourselves, lack of confidence, other people break our spirit, all sorts of different things. So I come championing and say, I'll hold your hand, let's go.
Over the last couple days we spent together, I got to see from a distance you work with a client doing specific hypnotherapy to get them to their breakthrough point.
Yes.
So is it primarily like romance and finance, or are the type of things that people?
Well, not a romance as much. It's very hard to wrangle in someone else into your life. So the more you work on you, then all of a sudden, love comes. And that's a beautiful part of life, but you have to be ready for it within yourself.
Right.
And so it's mostly health for me, health and success. And so, accomplishing your goals and going toward what you need and want in life. Not so much material, but spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, physically for yourself.
It's like helping people with their bandwidth.
Yes.
You can receive so much in life if you can't hold the capacity for it for whatever reasons, blocks, traumas, you help them expand that.
And it can be just the smallest of things that people have said to you that block you in your life. Somebody turned away from you and you feel, oh my goodness, how did that happen? Whereas I feel so terrible about it. So, it's not about holding on to something, it's actually kind of letting it go and let it be. Because when you overprocess it. And so I use reincarnation and past life regression as a tool. It's only a tool. But really, I'm using that tool to just, really race you ahead. And
it's like get in with the story and get out of the story.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of stories for very long. Those are at the beginning. It's all about you. So we're going to go again. Okay, so I know what you need. I know what you're seeking, maybe on an unconscious level, and so I can help with that.
We were talking earlier too, because we're in a COVID environment,
Mm-hmm.
and I know for myself, like I literally was collective trauma. Like a collective wave of trauma came up. I didn't even actually feel like it was my own personal experience, and yet I was so part of the wave.
Right.
What are your thoughts on people working around the collective trauma that we've had to go through with COVID?
With COVID. Yeah. Well, this is an opportunity. So our opportunities come to us in many different ways. You know, we were going too fast as a nation, as a world. We've gone through the communication phase of the internet, and we're going too fast. We are not enjoying our lives. There's a lot of people that don't look at their children, they don't look at their food, they're not looking at what they're reading, what they're saying to others, and so that has all come into consciousness. And so it's not really what the TV is telling us to do. It's really our individual work that needs to start with each and every one of us. So if you've been unhappy with your job, okay, this is the time to reinvent yourself into your next, you know, who are you going to be in your next phase of your life?
Right. So when they have these collective experiences, they're like really great pivot points.
They're pivot points.
To move
They're
on.
pivot points, and they hurt sometimes because, you know, my work is to teach people to see those pivot points coming. You know, the psychic training that I do is, you know it, you feel it, you hear it, you see it. You know when to take a step forward, you know when to take a step back, you know when to stay silent. But that you can see it coming. You can feel it coming. You don't step into something where you're going to have to deal with the consequences of something. No, you're going to create your own reality as best you can. And that's not in a destructive way. It's usually always in a constructive fashion. And so that's my thing, is teaching people how to be constructive as well.
I always feel like right action leads to God's sequence, whereas procrastinated action or fearful action leads to the consequences.
Yes.
The consequences that you were
Yes.
speaking of. Like, it's just like, you know, are you in high alignment or are you in fearful
Yes.
alignment?
If you're in fear, usually fear will follow you.
Yeah.
It befalls you, actually.
Befalls you. I like that.
Mhm. So you must be very careful with that.
You are Grammy-nominated.
I'm Grammy-nominated.
For that fabulous voice of yours, to do your early meditation CDs and work. And you have done a tremendous amount of
Yes.
voice work in that capacity. I mean, it's probably your primary tool for helping people and communicating with people.
Yes.
What are some of your like bestseller meditations that you've done?
Well, it depends, you know. I make a lot of actually individual MP3s
Right.
for everybody. So there's just so many MP3s that I do individually for people, what exactly is what they need. So I do have the Hypnotherapy app now. So everybody can
genius.
come in and they can pick what they want from my line or Steve G. Jones' line.
Yeah, that is absolutely genius that you have that. The Hypnotherapy app.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you can just kind of go in and
Yes.
and download or listen to or
Every
play
night.
which
Yeah.
one you're working with. We talked about that for I've been wearing my glasses.
Yes.
We talked about that.
Yes.
And I love that you, in passing, you're like, you know, we can work.
We can work on that.
Yeah, because I'd love nothing
Right.
more than to. I mean, I'm not even a person who has had bad eyesight, but I think because of cell phones and being on the computer,
Absolutely.
and the age, which is you know a collective thought form, but the age within the last couple of years, I can't see without my glasses.
Yes. And that's a meditation.
Got it.
Yeah, you may be looking too inward, or you may be looking too far outward.
Right.
And so we bring in the sequence of that. You're going to be in the balance.
And I love
And
that.
your eyesight gets better and better and better.
I love that. So going back, I first met you. We did I was invited to the house, did a full moon ritual, and just to
I met Jacquie at a full moon ritual.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I hadn't had this business. I was still working in a different capacity at the time. I always felt that time period was really potent to the change. You had a really large publishing company. I now have a publishing company. I've definitely learned and modeled many things. But it was I wanted to just say that the time period was also fantastic to be able to go to the house, It was the place to be. People, there would be tremendous, fabulous food at the house. Tara would cook. It was vegan or organic, and then you gather around so many people. You had Jess Stern, and then there'd be great, deep conversations. So you're a connector. One of your other gifts of bringing people together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love that. I love to share people. And I love, like, at all the seminars, we've had many people who've gotten married or they're best friends. They meet each other at different places, not just necessarily my events. It's wonderful.
That is, it was a great way to experience people. And then people have to have a gift for that. To know the right combination of people to bring in and the right conversations that are going to take place. So there were many of those that over the time period. But a lot of things have changed. We're not, books have changed. Everything's a lot more digital now. How are do you feel people are experiencing their spirituality these days? Is it mostly just like getting it on YouTube? Getting
Instagram, there seems to be a lot. And I coach a lot of young people. I have a lot of young influencers out there who are magical. I just love
what they do.
Yeah, I love what they do. So, and some are in their 30s, some are in their 20s, some are in their 40s, but it's mostly the 30s and the 20s.
The 30s and their 20-something.
Yeah, I just absolutely adore it.
We just published a book called Culture Shock, Surviving 5 Generations in One Workplace. So there's definitely a difference in how the younger people are experiencing the world because they come into a digital world where a lot of us have had to adjust to a digital world. What are the concerns that they come to you with? Like, is the same type of concern?
I think so. Sometimes, they feel that they might not be seen, they might not be heard. And, we all know that I have a few clients that when I say, you don't have to be invisible anymore, they become quite visible in the world. So,
no pun intended.
Yeah. So that's a lot of it too, of my work is to teach them how to be seen. How to enhance yourself in the world.
It's a big one.
And to be an intelligent, a person full of integrity, be authentic. These are qualities, these values that I really love.
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be something really magical come up for that in the future as well. That people are going to appreciate each other a little more when people are polite and authentic.
I appreciate that tremendously because I feel like values are always right alignment.
Yes.
Like you can't go wrong with making choices based on values.
Right.
Because that is always the highest alignment.
Right. You can either take the high road or the low road. It's always your choice. And that's what I say. So the anger, doubt, upsets, fear, and allow other people to kind of carry their stuff. If you allow other people to carry their stuff, then all of a sudden you recognize that it's not your stuff, it's their stuff. And instead of putting them down, how about if we make a suggestion, are you okay? That's all you have to say. It's like, I hope that you're doing well today. And as the salutation, just have a great time upcoming, or good luck. Good luck, take care, those sort of things. Leave people with something nice.
Yeah.
Sincere.
Yes, uplifting.
We don't have to push people down all the time. Right. That's not my thing.
Right, being critical.
Yes, because imperfection is actually more interesting than what we call perfection.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and destructive behavior is always destructive for the person, and then it goes outside their sphere to other people in their families, friends, their community. So these are things, if you catch them, it's just a little discipline.
Right.
If you catch them.
You can kind of step back.
Yeah, step back. Well, that's the psychic training. Take a step forward, take a step back, or stay still. But when you don't take things so personally, when you take life in a calmer, sense of, you're going to enjoy life, and even during COVID or any time, we're going to enjoy life.
Yeah, not giving the power outside of yourself for what you want to experience.
Yeah, and a lot in my meditations, I'll say that You know, we don't always know where we are going, but we trust that we have a beautiful life. And so it's like, we don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we trust.
Super calming. Something that like nice to take in, something really nice to carry. I understand why you have a Grammy or a nomination for
Thank you.
that voice.
Yeah, it was. I always was writing. You know, I mean, I still write. I mean, every day I have ideas and different things that come up. You know, whatever that is. You know, I just never have really a block. I just don't share it with the world every day, but I should. You know, definitely should. And yeah, I just always coming up with little anecdotes or script ideas and scripts.
Because even on my side of the work, you know, when we put people out in the world, I find that there's some common similarities of blocks. It's, you know, the fear of rejection.
Oh yeah, well that's a hard one. Yeah.
Losing control. Yes. Like if you get big, you put it out there, you have no control over how it's received.
Right.
No control.
No control. And that's just it, you know. That's what I teach a lot too, is that, you know, you build a team. It's always a team, and you can't expect that somebody sees something in the same way that you do. You have to let go. Because if you want something to live, everyone is breathing their life into a project. Everybody is doing their part. And you have to trust that.
Right.
You know, it's not always fun, but you have to trust it. Because, of course, you won't see it as coming out the way it should sometimes.
And if you want to be big,
yeah,
and you bring a team in, you have to allow the team members to do their parts, even if it's not your way.
Yeah, and I guess that's my thing, you know, because I have everybody. You know, I have entertainment people, I have janitors. You know, I take all clients, CEOs of the huge corporations, everybody. So the thing is that it's all about being in touch with yourself and what is it that you would like to accomplish in life. And it may not seem like much, but when you start to develop what it is that you would like in your life, then, you know, it becomes.
Do people know what they want?
No, that's the problem most of the time, is clarity.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have any clarity to actually know what they want to grasp.
Right, and then sometimes I find, even with myself, I have to watch that in order to fulfill that, this is what I want, that I'm just not going back to a place I was before to recreate it because I knew it. I always have to stop myself and say, okay, it's okay to be in the gray. It's okay to be in the uncertainty until I can feel my way into the new vision.
Yeah, and for me, when I'm working, I realize that people have that, you know, not clear picture of what they want, and so then I use a lot of shamanic metaphor. And so I will decipher what you need, because I'll trick you to where you will tell me a whole story, and I will be able to decipher it.
Distill right down.
Yes. It's exactly what.
And then reflect it back to them.
Yes, and of course tell them what they
really want to do.
Yeah,
because I think that's a big one. What is it you want, or what do you want in 5 years from now? It's like, I don't know, but not this.
Right.
Not this.
Right.
Not at this time. So I find that people have those common blocks. So past this wonderful year of 2020, which has been quite something to watch. I mean, on some levels, I feel like I had a great personal year, even though collectively it was really discombobulating. What do you see on the other side of 2020? Especially since everybody's focused on one event that's going to change everything.
Which is not the case, everyone. Yeah,
and half of people are not going to be happy anyway.
Yes.
With the outcome, so that's never something that you want.
No, it's all about, we're having this opportunity, and so this is it. We're having an opportunity to create our lives and to listen on a deeper level. If we got into meditation I think that does a lot of clearing for everybody. So if you meditate 10 or 20 minutes every day, I think it really helps people in a calm state. You just get in a calm state and stop the motor running of your voice, that voice, you know, of what you're supposed to do, or who you don't like, or, you know, what you do like too much, or whatever it is. You just get into the whole centering, into more of a Zen state. You're able to hear what's going on better and start focusing in. I think that in my work, you know, I've seen a lot of people focus too inward, and then I've seen people focus too outward. So it's a good balance. And this is the thing, is we need to be balanced in our lives. You know, just eat really healthy. You know, there's no more COVID overeating. And, you know, we all have to exercise. We all take our health seriously. We all, we love who we love, and we're consistent on who we love, and consistent on who we like. And I'm feeling too that we shouldn't whine. It's about service on the planet. And so service on the planet means that if we are not unhappy about a situation, then you have to do what you do well, and allowing it to be more of a community thing at that point. And that's, again, not a picketing. It's about feeding people and learning to solve problems. Because these are all going to be jobs in the future anyway, is how do we solve problems? How do we resolve our emotions, our infrastructure on our towns or within our families? You know, I mean, we can observe, but we have to be the ones that start. It always starts from the home. It always starts with us living into, you know, coming into our best self.
I think that's really, really beautiful, and I agree. I think that I believe that all problems on this planet are solvable.
Yes, true.
I believe that there's
everything,
yeah,
even every disease. There's some kind of cure out there, and yeah, you just got to find it.
Yeah, and we just have to commit to doing that.
I have a beautiful story about that. I have a friend in Los Angeles, and in 1970. Well, no, I think it was 1985. He had a wife that they sent home and said that she was terminally ill, and that she, you know, there was nothing that they could do. And so he decided that he didn't have a real good job. He couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't do anything. But he started going to everybody who was like a holistic person and bringing and looking for the fountain of youth or some kind of medicine in the world that he could bring back to her. And he kept her alive until 2016 by doing this. And at first he didn't know what to do to make money, but he decided to become a life insurance agent, and now he has 135 employees. And it was just because of the love of this woman, he wanted to keep her alive. And so he's gone all over the world and in search of cures, and in search of potions and clear water and good water and different things. And
yeah, I feel like most humans want the same thing. We want, you know, a clean planet. We want good health. We want prosperity.
Yes.
We want opportunity. We want to be with our loved ones.
Yes.
You know, it's how we get caught up in how we think that it should be.
Well, that somebody else should
do
it for us. Yes, has to be us that steps into our own personal power.
Yeah. Creating those realities.
Mm-hmm.
Creating our realities.
Small things go a long way. You know, maybe you're helping puppies and kittens. You know, whatever it is. Plants. You're planting trees. Whatever it is. You know, you can do easy things. You can do, you know, it's just teaching your kids to be good people on the planet.
You also are really good at dreams. So every once at a time, I'll get a dream hit, and I'll be like, "What does this mean?"
Oh yeah, because you've had a lot of good dreams
I get a
while
lot
we've
of
been
information,
together.
yeah.
And so I feel that, you know, with Jacquie, with everything that's been going on, as far as, you know, since we have such mutual. You know, my spiritual family has been, you are included with it. And so it's been interesting that you showed up just when I felt, you know, I needed an angel.
That's very nice.
You showed up.
Yeah,
But so the dreams are, again, the shamanic wisdom. So I decipher the dream down to see what your subconscious, or maybe even what your spirit body is doing when at night. So you're such a creator, like you've been telling me about dreams and everything. It's all about showmanship, creation. You've been doing a lot of creation dreams this week around me. And so, and so with that is that you have a lot of projects coming up. And so, and you're just going to rock it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful time for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you also help people through the mathematics of astrology,
Yes.
understanding people their charts. And you look at them.
I do the Eastern and Western astrology together. I've combined it, and I've done that now for many, many years, probably 27 or so.
Like a little
years,
second hand right now.
Yeah.
It's a little second hand.
Right. And so I don't advertise it a lot, because I am pretty prolific in divination and, the arts of metaphysics. And so, but I do charts and always live my life around astrology. Don't talk about it in my articles as much as it's there.
I get it in a lot of places.
Right. I don't like to give you the jargon because that jargon is somewhat of its own language, and so I leave the jargon pretty much out. But Eastern Western astrology. I believe the Eastern really tells you, it guides you a lot, and that's my interest. My interest is you may not know where you're going, but where's the guidance? What is there such a thing? So I study it, I research it, where the predestiny of how we might have come in through the mathematics is a universal language.
Yeah.
So I allow it to tell me a story.
And you also apply this to your own life. Like you want to talk about Lyrica?
Oh, Lyrica. Well, Lyrica, is my horse that I've had for many years now. I've actually had her for over 22 years.
And she's like a majestic, strong
horse.
she's
So beautiful. She's at our barn now. I mean, she's like, well, they say the queen of the barn. So that people come, she has her own fan club because she's so beautiful and sweet. But she had the same birthday as my childhood horse. So that's why when I saw her birthday on her papers, when I first met her, and she was being vacuumed. They were vacuuming her, which is so funny, because horses don't like noise like that usually, and they vacuum it. That was part of their grooming system, and so she was being vacuumed. And I was looking at her paperwork, and it's like, oh my gosh, she's the one. But I had for a long time, I had done Russian gypsy cards, and I kept getting. I just wanted like a layout. Was I supposed to look for inland or another state, a horse? Because I was I was going to buy a horse, and or what? Should I go look along the coast? And it kept coming Del Mar, Del Mar, Del Mar, Del Mar, of the sea. This one card on the Russian gypsy deck, and then she's from Del Mar, from actual Del Mar. Yeah, so it's just hilarious.
Right,
yeah.
And then I know that you helped get her out of the fires.
Well, she was in the fires. I really pride myself with my horses.
Yeah.
I have an Argentinian thoroughbred as well. She's from Argentina. And I pride myself that they've never been hurt, and I've always taken very, very good care of them. Their legs are great. But I was boarding, and they were in a terrible, the Woolsey fire in Malibu. And she was in the horse hospital for 3 months. It was very terrible.
And you had to use a lot of guidance too.
I had to use a lot of guidance. I believe that my Archangel Sentinels worked for me. They actually worked for me when I asked them. And I really screamed and prayed that day because the ranch would not call me back.
You're very connected to animals.
Thank you.
Some of your work is about communicating with animals. I see how animals are around you.
Oh, thank you.
And then I watched you rescue a dog from South America.
Yes.
And bring
I have, out of the 5 animals that I have 2 from South America. Who would know?
Who would know? But you went to great lengths to do it.
Yes.
So I always think that takes an incredibly special kind of person to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, she's from Brazil.
And what you went through to get her back
in the Amazon.
Yeah,
she's great.
One of the things that I've been interested in, just because of the work I do, but the humanism of being a spiritual leader. Mm-hmm. And you've been out up front in public for a very, very, very long time. What keeps you solid around projections, rejections? Because I think that spiritual leaders almost have it doubly hard in terms of being a celebrityism or an influencer. Like what keeps you solid in that?
Well, I believe in the shamanic signs. So whenever there's a red flag, whenever there's a rejection, it's your protection. So that phrase I used with my psychic teens in Malibu for 10 years. That rejection was your protection.
Right.
And so it's coined out there now.
Right.
This rejection is your protection. Yeah, but that really started from my teen class, I believe.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, because
Yes.
you were working with teens for a while.
And so the teens, they prolifically went out there. But that was, but I do feel it's your protection in life.
Yeah.
That, it's your red flag and you can fight it. You can fight it and you can make your life hard and you can be sad all the time and you can, scream and carry on. But in reality, if you can dust yourself off and pick yourself up and say, it was a sign. What am I supposed to do next? And, usually if you stay silent, listen, know clarity, what you'd like to do, it can't necessarily be the CEO of a corporation or, a pro at some, sport, but you can start that if that's what you wanted to, start building towards, if that's your prerogative. I believe that, anybody can do anything they want.
And so people can find your body of work at tarainsights.com.
Right. Yeah, it's just Insight.
Insight. And that is also mostly your handles also for Instagram if people want to follow you and as well on Facebook. And then they can get your app there on the tarainsight.com.
Yes.
As well and download that app as well.
TaraInsight.com. INSIGHT.
Tara. Thank you so much very much for doing this with us today. Thank you.
I'm always so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. You can find us at frontandcenterpodcast.com and we will be right back. Thank you.